Hey everybody, welcome back to the program. I'm Chris Raygun and this is another episode of Glasses Off. And before everybody leaves comments, Chris, your glasses are still on. This isn't a Glasses Off. Here you go, the first episode of Glasses Off where I actually take my glasses off. Gonna put them back on though. I don't like being blind. It's not particularly comfortable. So today on Glasses Off, we're going to be talking about the whole PewDiePie thing because it's kind of impossible to ignore at this point. And if you somehow haven't heard of this by now, I'll give you the long and short of it. Basically, a YouTuber by the name of PewDiePie, who I will be calling Felix occasionally throughout this video because that's his real name. He's the biggest YouTuber on the platform. He's got 53 million subscribers and counting. He's the biggest channel on the website. Well, apparently he's a racist, a white supremacist, and a Nazi, at least according to what appears to be every single journalistic publication on the internet. Now, if this sounds familiar to you at all, it probably should, because this exact same thing happened a few weeks ago with JonTron. I could probably make YouTuber the Nazi into its own series on my channel at this point, with all the baseless accusations I've seen in just the past week alone. Oh boy, I wonder who the next one is. Is it Boogie? Is it Your Movie Sucks? Is it Young Crip? Tune in next week to find out, everybody. Oh boy, leave a like and a comment. Now, I don't really want to get into the whole thing about him being dumped by Disney and his network. I think it's stupid and I disagree with it, but ultimately a network can get rid of any content creator for any stupid reason. That's their stupid decision. They're well within the right to make it. I think it's dumb, but I don't think that's the big issue here. The bigger issue that I see here is the Wall Street Journal and every other fucking news site on the face of this putrid earth passing off slander as legitimate journalism. Now, to fully understand this, we have to look at the video hit piece that the Wall Street Journal made about him, and I know that a lot of you have probably seen this already, but for those of you who haven't, I think it's really important, I think it's pertinent to the discussion that you see the context of what I'm talking about, because unlike some people, I actually care about context. So this is the video that the Wall Street Journal put out as proof, as compelling evidence, that Felix, aka PewDiePie, is a Nazi. Brace yourselves, because it's fucking mesmerizing.
Somebody out there? Let's go inside the stories. The scoop. Oh no, that's better. Scoop is better. Let's get into the latest scoop.
Oh, he used Hitler as I'm sorry, that clip is honestly one of my favorites. It makes me laugh every single time I watch it. So, he used Hitler as a transition slide in one of his videos. Well, that's just crossing the line. Only a Nazi would invoke the imagery of Hitler. Only a Nazi would joke about Hitler. Isn't that right, Sarah Silverman, who for some reason feels like she's on a high horse with all this bullshit Nazi shit? Sarah Silverman, more like hashtag Sarah Silvermine Kampf. Anyone with even a cursory understanding of humor understands that the joke here is that it's completely absurd to use Hitler as a transition slide. It's ridiculous to use him in that way. That's the joke. The joke is that it's ridiculous. It's not a statement of admiration. Are you fucking dense? And by the way, all of the jokes that they show, they don't bother giving any context to. It's just the Nazi part of the joke. No setup, no reason for it. They just give you the Nazi shit, and that's it. Oh geez, he's dressed as a Nazi and he's watching a Hitler speech. There's no context needed for this. He's a Nazi, obviously. Duh. So that settles it. Everybody who's ever dressed as a Nazi for a fucking comedy sketch is now a legitimate Nazi. Isn't that just fucking wonderful? I will now once again invoke the imagery of Sarah Silverman dressed as Hitler because I think it illustrates the point perfectly. If Felix is a Nazi for dressing like a Nazi for a comedy sketch, then guess what? So is Sarah Silverman. If you're going to be retarded, you might as well be consistently retarded. By the way, that clip of him in the SS uniform, yeah, that was literally from a video where he was making fun of the media for finding any bullshit excuse to call him a racist. Fucking ironic as hell now, isn't it? I shouldn't have to explain the joke, but the whole video is him showing articles of bullshit websites writing stupid articles about how racist he is, and him saying, I'm not racist, you're stupid, and then he ends the video with him dressed as a Nazi watching a Hitler speech. That's the joke. You know how in Always Sunny they sometimes open with a character saying something along the lines of, oh, you know what, D, you're crazy, I would never betray my family, and then it immediately cuts to the title, which is Dennis immediately betrays his family? That's the joke. It's saying one thing and then immediately doing the opposite. It's not complicated humor. It's a simple fucking joke.
Perhaps I killed a Jedi and took it from him.
I don't think so. No one can kill a Jedi.
And what pisses me off most about this is that the Wall Street Journal understands the context of these jokes because they had to edit the context out. They did this on purpose, and that's not fucking journalism. And then they flash text on the screen that says, oh, his videos have Nazi messages and anti-Semitic commentary. Well, guess what, fuckface? Your video about Felix also has Hitler in it. It might be footage from Felix's original video, but your video still has Hitler in it. Does that make the Wall Street Journal a Nazi publication? You know, since we're really busy ignoring context, pretending that it doesn't exist and just pretending that it's perfectly fine to ignore it, even though you're a fucking journalist. Oh, but Chris, the Daily Stormer changed their website banner to read PewDiePie's #1 fan site. How do you explain that? They're an actual Nazi site. They're an actual white supremacist website. How do you explain them becoming the #1 PewDiePie fan site, Chris? First of all, Felix isn't responsible for what other people do with his words. And second of all, the Daily Stormer is just taking the piss. Now, I don't know much about the Daily Stormer, I will admit, but from what I've seen, they appear to be a genuine white supremacist website. They appear to genuinely be Nazis. Not this bullshit JonTron Nazi, not this bullshit Chris Reagan Nazi who just likes joking about Hitler. No, actual, genuine neo-Nazis. That's what the website is. But they're not actually PewDiePie's #1 fan site. They're just reacting to the bullshit that the media's putting out. They're going along with the joke because they think it's funny. How sad is it that a genuine white supremacist website has a more intact sense of humor than the Wall Street Journal? What the fuck? No, Chris, it's not a joke. You can't just make the it's a joke excuse. That excuses everything. They actually like PewDiePie because he's a genuine racist just like them. Okay, well then, how do you explain this, you fucking invalids? The Daily Stormer just changed the header image of their site to read the #1 Wall Street Journal fan site, and it features pictures of the faces of the 3 people who wrote this bullshit hit piece on PewDiePie. So, is the Wall Street Journal a Nazi-sympathizing publication now? Oh no, Chris, that's clearly just a joke. Well, that's just fucking brilliant. So, it's only a joke if it suits your narrative, and it's only genuine if it suits your narrative. That's, wow, that is some grade A level convenience. Now, before we get too far into this, I just want to say that I'm totally fine with offensive jokes or offensive material having real-world consequences for the people who make them. I'm totally fine with that. If you want to leave hate comments and just talk about how much of a piece of shit I am, fucking go ahead. I don't give 2 fucks. I like to make fun of absolutely everything. Rape, murder, genocide, infanticide, pedophilia. When Jared Fogle got busted, the first thing I thought was, oh, so that's how he lost all that weight. It wasn't the sandwiches, he was just chasing kids. If people find that offensive, that's all well and good. You can find my humor offensive all you want. That's a-okay. I think you're dumb, and I think you're incredibly humorless, but you're allowed to be dumb and humorless. I would never say to somebody that you don't have the right to be dumb and humorless. Do whatever you want. You can even hate me for it. But it's one thing to hate someone, or to dislike someone, or to disagree with someone over their use of offensive jokes. And it's another thing entirely for a journalistic publication to purposefully lie and slander someone over it. That's not okay. It's fucking criminal, and I hope that the Wall Street Journal and every other piece of shit journalistic publication that printed this libel gets gawkered into the fucking ground. Fuck you, go away, no one will miss you when you're gone, just like no one misses Gawker now. And as far as jokes go, and as far as humor goes, personally, I find humor in tragedy, in part because I think that's what humor is for. It's a coping mechanism. It's a way for us to look at the worst things in life and find some semblance of relief. Life is a huge joke, and the tragedies are the punchlines. George Carlin, one of the best comedians ever, had a comedy special called I Kinda Like It When a Lot of People Die. Where the fuck have you been if you're trying to separate tragedy from comedy? Do you even understand what it is? Do you even understand why we laugh? And you know what? I think the Wall Street Journal and all these self-righteous assholes understand what they did. And before everyone says, "Oh, we need to defend our journalists," it's really not cool for us to be attacking our journalists like this. These are not journalists. Philip DeFranco is a far better journalist than I've ever seen at the Wall Street Journal or any of these other fucking websites. And I think that is what pisses them off the most. The fact that people like Phil, people like Jontron, and people like Felix don't have to answer to anyone. Clickbait, sensationalist bullshit websites like The Verge are losing relevancy to people like me. And I bet that's fucking killing them on the inside. I bet that feels like a slap in the soul. Because I'm being more honest with you guys than the Wall Street Journal could ever hope to be with their own readership. Because I don't have anything to gain from making shit up. Because I have an audience that's here for me, for my opinion, for my take, for my personality. And, you know, they'll watch me regardless of what opinions I've had. I've had videos before that have gotten pretty huge dislike ratios because the people just disagreed with my opinion that one time. And you know what? They're still here and they're still watching me. And if my audience likes my content enough to watch me regardless of what I say, why would I even bother lying? But you guys over at the Wall Street Journal, over at The Verge, over at all these other sensationalist blogs, you don't have that luxury. You're struggling to get the clicks, you need to sensationalize, you need to ignore the context to make stories bigger than they actually are, and that's exactly why we're the ones winning. Your own video slandering the man has fuck all relevance. The only people it's managed to convince are the other people at other publications who write the same crap you write. Your hit piece has 83,000 views and the worst approval rating I think I've ever seen. Meanwhile, Felix's response to you guys telling you to fuck off? Well, would you look at that? Broke 5 million views in a single fucking day, and millions, literally millions, are on his side. All you've done here is proven exactly why you need to be replaced, why you just need to go. Because when some dumb cunt who walks around with Legos in his shoes, who walks across the streets of Manhattan drinking bleach, who talks to a stuffed llama, has more credibility and more relevance than you, a credible news source, you should probably just throw in the towel. So in short, I'm with PewDiePie on this. I'm with Felix. I love twisted humor. I think it's fine. I don't think there's any harm in it whatsoever, and I think the Wall Street Journal and The Verge are just a bunch of dumb cunts who deserve nothing short of a lawsuit. So fuck those people, and fuck anybody who supports them. Just fuck off. But that's really all I wanted to say, guys. I think that's gonna be it for me today. I'm sorry if this Glasses Off was a little bit more jump cutty than normal. I wanted to get my point across very clear, so I had a bullet pointed list in front of me. I don't usually do that for Glasses Off. It's usually just a stream of consciousness. But this time I really felt like I wanted to make specific points. So that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to have a new video for you guys soon. I'll see you next time.